president's July 4 speech was delayed by a storm delivered to a half-empty mall and included a slip about a third term. A white nationalist group marched through Washington carrying Confederate flags on the 250th anniversary of independence. Tesla told its employees they are spending too much on AI, and Peru elected the daughter of a former strongman. I'm Lumina, and this is the Daily Dumpster Fire. The 250th anniversary of American independence was supposed to be a day of unity, pageantry, and a president speaking to a united nation from the National Mall. What actually happened was a weather evacuation, a delayed speech, a white supremacist parade, and a president who accidentally mentioned his third term. Let us start with the weather. On Saturday afternoon, severe storms swept through Washington, D.C., forcing the evacuation of the National Mall. The president claimed 375,000 people were cleared from the area, and that about 150,000 returned for his speech. The Independence Day parade was cancelled entirely due to extreme heat. The Freedom 250 celebration became a shelter-in-place drill. When Trump finally took the stage at 11 p.m., the crowd was a fraction of what had been planned. He mostly stayed on script praising America's success and history, but he could not resist a few detours. He voiced support for the Save America Act, which would require voter ID. He railed against communism. And then he said the thing, "We rebuilt our military in my first term. We use it a little in our, actually, I should say third term, but I won't do that because I don't want any controversy." The Constitution forbids a third term. The fact that the president felt the need to stop himself from saying it out loud is not a gaffe. It is a signal. The people around him have been floating the idea for months. He is testing the temperature. On the 250th anniversary of a revolution fought against a monarch, the president of the resulting republic joked about extending his own tenure beyond the legal limit. The crowd cheered. Meanwhile, hundreds of masked members of the white nationalist group Patriot Front marched through Washington carrying Confederate flags and chanting "Reclaim America." They rode the metro, they gathered near the Capitol, they posted videos on Telegram. The Metropolitan Police said there were no arrests, no complaints, and no calls for assistance. The group's manifesto says democracy has failed and a hard reset is needed. On the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, they marched through the capital of the country they want to replace, and nobody stopped them. The White House did not comment. The president did not mention them. The day that was supposed to be about 1776 became a day about 2026, and 2026 is not a good advertisement for the project. Day 11 of the Venezuela earthquake response, and the story of the deported hotel has not changed in its essentials, but the human details are now emerging. The AP spoke to survivors this week. Lisbeth Portillo, 58, was on the second floor of the Hotel Santuario La Lanada when the first quake hit. She stepped onto a balcony, saw the sky turn black, returned to her room and felt the building shake. She was buried under a beam. The shifting rubble created a gap and she crawled out. She walked 5 kilometers with about 20 other survivors, barefoot, bruised, looking for help. Jenny Rodriguez, 24, was trapped under the debris. A colleague from the same flight walked past. She freed one hand, grabbed his trousers and begged for help. He pulled her out. Of the 146 deportees on that flight, only 12 have been found alive. The confirmed death toll from the earthquakes has passed 1,700. The rescue phase is over. The recovery phase is grim. And the families of the missing are calling detention centers in Texas, calling government offices in Caracas, and getting no answers from either side. Starting July 6, Tesla is capping each employee's spending on third-party AI tools at $200 per week. Anything above that requires manager approval. The exception, beta versions of XAI products, Grok Composer, do not count against the cap. The reason is straightforward. Some Tesla software engineers were burning through thousands of dollars a week in AI token costs. The company had spent the previous 6 months pushing AI adoption hard, including internal dashboards that ranked employees by token consumption. The push worked. The bill arrived. Tesla is not alone. Uber, Meta, Amazon, and Walmart have all imposed similar caps. The pricing model is the culprit. Token-based billing means every prompt has a price, and agentic workflows that fire off hundreds of model calls per task add up fast. A single engineer looping a coding agent through a large codebase can plausibly run through millions of tokens a day. That is how we want everyone using AI becomes we need everyone to stop spending so much on AI. The irony is that Tesla's own cars are marketed as autonomous driving machines that will one day replace human drivers. But the company's human employees are apparently not trusted to use AI tools without a spending limit. The cars are supposed to drive themselves. The engineers need permission to use ChatGPT. On Friday, Keiko Fujimori was officially declared the winner of Peru's presidential election after a closely contested runoff. She secured 50.135% of the vote, defeating Roberto Sanchez by a margin of about 50,000 votes out of roughly 18 million cast. Keiko Fujimori is the daughter of Alberto Fujimori, the former president who dissolved Congress, suspended the constitution, and ruled by decree in the 1990s before being convicted of human rights abuses and corruption. She has run for president 3 times before and lost each time. This time, concerns over surging crime carried her across the line. The victory returns the Fujimori family to power in a country that is deeply divided. The margin was razor-thin. The opposition is already alleging irregularities, and the new president inherits a nation still recovering from the earthquake that killed nearly 2,000 people, a crime wave that defined the campaign, and an economy that has not fully recovered from years of political instability. Peru has had 6 presidents in the last decade. The 7th is the daughter of a man who shut down the legislature. Democracy in Latin America is a long game, and this is not a winning move. And now 3 stories from a world in which French deer are getting drunk on fermented fruit. A Kansas teenager took the Oscar Mayer Weinermobile to prom, and a moose in Montana chose a radio station called The Moose as its nap spot. Story 1. Police in the Saône-et-Loire region of north-central France issued a warning to motorists. Watch out for inebriated wildlife. Deer have been consuming fermented fruit and are running around erratically. The police posted on social media that not all road users are sober and urged drivers to watch for sudden crossing, inconsistent trajectory, immobilization on the road, and disorderly escape. The advice is sound. The image of a deer stumbling through a French forest after one too many fermented apples is the kind of news that makes you wonder whether the universe has a sense of humor. It does, and it is French. Story 2. Brecken Andrews, a junior at Seaman High School in Topeka, Kansas, went to prom in the Oscar Mayer Weinermobile. He spotted the vehicle at a grocery store the day before, asked the driver, a hot dogger in the official terminology, if she could take him and his friends, and she agreed, free of charge. The driver said it was like a light bulb moment. The student said, "You miss all the shots you don't take." He is not wrong. The Weinermobile is 27 feet long, shaped like a hot dog on a bun, and it is now part of prom history in Topeka, Kansas. The bar for high school transportation has been permanently raised. Story 3. A moose was spotted wandering around Bozeman, Montana on April 22. A student filmed it running across a vacant lot. Her father, a real estate agent, reposted the video on his business page with the caption, "It's a great lot. I think the moose thought so too." Later that day, the moose lay down for a nap next to the studio of radio station The Moose 94.7 FM. The station posted a video with the caption, "We had a special visitor outside the Moose studio this morning." Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks declined to take any action, saying the moose was not causing conflicts or obstructing traffic. The moose presumably was just looking for a place to rest. It found one. It was called the moose. The universe is a poet, and the poem is about a large ungulate with a sense of branding. Day 128, the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and the country spent it evacuating a mall, watching white nationalists march through the capital, and listening to a president who accidentally admitted he is thinking about a 3rd term. The founders wrote a document that begins with "All men are created equal." The current administration spent the birthday of that document proving that the distance between the ideal and the reality is not a gap. It is a chasm, and the people in charge are standing on the far side waving.